The Guide to the Tongariro Alpine Crossing. Simply walk into Mordor. The forces of the earth can be seen at work at the surface. This is what the Tongariro Alpine Crossing is all about, as well as one hell of a workout. You could almost be mistaken for walking on another planet. Go across a landscape of craters, active volcanoes, scattered pumice, mountain springs, lava flows, scoria and mounds of volcanic rock looking like they have been carved into statues. Then you have a contrast of colors with the perfect blue and emerald lakes to the fiery red crater. No wonder the Tongariro Crossing is often described as one of New Zealand's best one-day hikes. The area is also famous for its run-in with Mt Ngauruhoe, or to the Lord of the Rings fans, Mount Doom of Mordor. The 19.4 kilometers, 12-mile, hike high into a volcanic alpine environment is a must-do in New Zealand, but does require a bit of preparation, from packing the right equipment to booking your transport. You don't have to be incredibly fit for this walk, just prepared and determined. Tongariro Crossing Checklist. What to take. It is essential that you are prepared for all conditions, no matter what time of year you go. Food. Pack some lunch and snacks to keep you going. Plenty of water. 1.5 to 3 liters should be enough. Take about 3 liters if you are going to do side tracks and summits. Waterproof coat, not only to protect you against the rain but will keep you warm from the wind. Layers, whether it be thermals, walking pants/leggings, over trousers, etc. Hiking shoes or boots. Sunscreen. Hat in summer/beanie in winter. Personal first aid kit. Map and cell phone. In winter, you may need crampons and an ice axe, and know how to use them. It is safer to go with a guide in these conditions. For more advice on being prepared for any hike in New Zealand, take a look at outdoor safety when hiking in New Zealand on nzpocketguide.com. Terrain and track description. The Tongariro Alpine Crossing is a one-way 19.4 kilometers, 12-mile track. At a comfortable speed with plenty of stops for photos or resting, we are not judging. It takes between 7 to 8 hours to complete. Is there a fee to walk the trail? There is no admission fee to walk the trail. You will, however, need to budget for transport. More on that in the below sections. Where to start the Tongariro Crossing? One end of the Tongariro Crossing is at the Manete-Popo car park on the west side of the mountains, and the other end is at Kitetahi car park, north of the mountains. For less time climbing, start from the Manete-Popo car park and end at Kitetahi. Get to Manete-Popo car park, take Manete-Popo Road off State Highway 47 for 7 kilometers, 4 miles, to the car park. In summer, between Labour weekend in October and April 30th, a 4-hour time restriction is in place at the Manete-Popo Road end, meaning you will need to use one of the shuttle services if you are doing the full hike. What time to start the Tongariro Crossing? You should start walking the Tongariro Crossing between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. Shuttles generally offer passengers a choice of times to start the hike between 6:30 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. Tongariro Crossing description. Now, begin the Tongariro Crossing. From the Manete-Popo car park, follow the well-marked track of gravel and boardwalks up a steady gradient to the Soda Springs turnoff and some toilet facilities. Then prepare for the steepest climb of the hike, known as the Devil's Staircase, up to the Manete-Popo saddle. You can either take the side trip up to Mt Ngauruhoe and back, then continue on the Manete-Popo saddle between Mt Tongariro and Mt Ngauruhoe. Follow the pole markers across the south crater to the crossing's highest point, the Red Crater, 1,886 meters/6,188 feet. Descend past the Emerald Lakes and take another quick climb skirting Te Wai Wakata o Te Rangihiroa, Blue Lake. The rest is downhill from here to the Kitetahi shelter, a good place to stop for lunch. Then the final descent is about 2 hours of walking through native forest to the Kitetahi car park. Side trips. Extend your trip in the volcanic plateau. Soda Springs, 15 minutes return. A dainty waterfall that emerges in a boggy area perfect for moisture-loving vegetation. Start the 15-minute track near the head of the Manete-Popo Valley before ascending up the Devil's Staircase. Mt Ngauruhoe summit, 3 hours return. This is it, Lord of the Rings fans. Time to climb Mount Doom. Start from the signed crossing at the south crater. The route up is steep with no markers, so climb directly up the Mt Ngauruhoe's crater. The easiest way up is by the rocky ridge to the left of the scree slopes. Be careful of loose rocks and do not attempt in winter without the appropriate equipment. Mount Tongariro summit, 1 hour 30 minutes to 2 hours. Start from the signed crossing at the red crater and follow the pole route to the summit, where you can get awesome views over the crossing track and see Mount Ruapehu in the distance. Transport to the Tongariro Crossing. Because the Tongariro Alpine Crossing is a one-way track, you will need some sort of transport to either pick you up at the end of track and take you back to your car at the starting point, or transport you from your accommodation to the start, then pick you up at the end and drop you back at your accommodation. Luckily, there are services to do just that. If you are parking at one car park and need picking up from the other end, you can book a shuttle service to take you back to your starting point. In summer, between Labour Weekend in October and April 30th, a 4-hour time restriction is in place at the Manitepopo road end, meaning you will need to use one of the shuttle services if you are doing the full hike. For those who would prefer to be picked up and dropped off at their accommodation, there are a number of Tongariro Alpine Crossing shuttle services operating from Taupo, Turangi, National Park Village, Whakapapa Village, and Owakune. If you are staying somewhere in between, the shuttle services can usually pick you up on the way too. Transport bookings can be done yourself or through your accommodation. Your accommodation can usually give you weather updates too to see if it is safe to do the crossing. For more information about transport, see our Tongariro Crossing Accommodation and Transport, a practical guide on nzpocketguide.com. The Tongariro Crossing, summer versus winter. Never has a place looked so contrasting between seasons. You'll get an array of colors created by volcanic activity during the summer months, then all this is blanketed in the snow like icing sugar on a 2,287 meters cake. All seasons can be extremely rewarding as long as you keep safe. The weather can be brutal, and what is going on in the car park at the start of the crossing can be completely different from what is going on 1,000 meters / 3,200 feet higher. Be prepared by following the previous what to take section. The track is well marked with poles and signs to follow, as well as formed tracks. If the visibility gets too poor to see the next marker, stay where you are until you can see the next marker again. Summer. All the fiery red and orange of a volcanic plateau teamed with the emerald and blue lakes are best seen in summer going into the first half of autumn, November to April. Summer is often the preferred time to tackle Tongariro, with the weather conditions more often being clearer and calmer. You are more easily able to do side trips to places that would otherwise be too covered in snow and ice during winter. Winter. Winter in New Zealand runs from June to August, which is a great time to see the Tongariro Crossing in a completely different way. The landscape is completely covered in snow, which particularly makes Mt Ngauruhoe look unreal. Saying that, winter is when the crossing experiences its most extreme weather with snow and blistering winds. It's best to wait for a calm and clear winter's day to make the most of it. Even then, you'll need specialist equipment like crampons and an ice axe and know how to use them. If you are not experienced at hiking in winter alpine conditions, hire a guide with Adrift Tongariro for your own safety. Find out more about Adrift Tongariro on Vieta and TripAdvisor. If you want to get a taste of that winter experience, we recommend taking on the Tongariro Alpine Crossing during the first half of spring, September to October, as some of the snow may still be lingering on the highest points like Mt Ngauruhoe, Manitepopo Saddle and the outskirts of the Blue Lake, while the lakes may only just be visible from under the ice. However, it is usually still not safe to climb Mt Ngauruhoe when it still has snow on it. Nevertheless, the site is one to remember. Facilities on the Tongariro Crossing. Toilets. There are 9 long drop toilets located along the Tongariro Alpine Crossing track, including one at the Manitepopo Hut and Car Park and at the Ketetahi Shelter and Car Park. Huts. The huts are for overnight users, for those doing the Tongariro Circuit Great Walk. If you need to use them for shelter, leave wet boots and jackets outside. Water. Make sure you take enough drinking water with you for the whole trip. There is water supply at the huts from rainwater. Do not drink water from the streams due to high mineral content. Rubbish. There are no bins on the hike, so take the rubbish out of the park with you, including cigarette butts. For more details on the Tongariro Crossing's facilities, check out the Department of Conservation website. That's it for this article. Hit like and subscribe to say thank you, and remember, this article is available for free on nzpocketguide.com. Check out the link in the description. Plus, there are thousands of articles for you to plan the perfect New Zealand holiday.